Hello there guys, it's Captain Invisible here and welcome to another Medieval 2 Total War online battle. This is a subscribers replay. It's a 2 versus 2 sent in by V.O.C. belg. So thank you very much for sending another battle replay. I know I got a few more from you, but I've just not had the time to get round to all your games. You are one of the most dedicated replay sender I've ever had the pleasure of having subscribed to me. So thank you very much for sending them in, and I shall definitely get around to watching them all, if not uploading them as well. But as I say, this is a 2 versus 2 online battle. I'm not 100% sure what the rules were. This battle didn't come with any of the instructions, but it was a 2 versus 2. But he has sent me another one which has the rules 25k. I don't know whether that's per team or each player, but I assume it's 25 for the team. And it's 6-2 cav and no elephants. I assume that means I'm sure there's more to it. So the standard no artillery, elephants or guns, but it kind of cuts it off, between no E. So yeah, the rules were, as I say, the rules were on the other game, so I don't know whether it's the same rules for this game as well. I'm sure belg can clear that up in the comments. But yeah, it proves to be quite an interesting game, no more so for the fact that Denmark is in this game, and Denmark is probably one of my favourite factions in this game. Really, they really are such a fun faction to bring, and certainly on my new rule set, they are certainly a very powerful faction on that, with all the infantry they can bring, and sort of cost-effective cavalry as well. So we'll go over the players and then the armies. So we've got V.O.C. belg playing as Denmark, and his ally is Alvaleon in command of the Mongols. So some good players already in this game. And then we've got TWR Konie in command of Egypt. And then we've got AggonyRipper in command of Spain. So some really good players in this battle. I can already tell this is going to be a really interesting game. So for belg's army, he's got 4 units of crossbowmen. And they look really cool with these funny little helmets. I really do like the look of them, but they are pretty outclassed by quite a lot of other missile units in the game. For cavalry, he's got a general's bodyguard. It looks like a normal standard general's bodyguard. And he's got, I think that's 3 units of Huskarl cavalry. And then on this flank he's got 2 units of chivalric knights. For infantry he's got, I believe, 3 units of Norse axemen with significant upgrades to their armour, and possibly weapons. Yeah, one of these units has weapon upgrades. These guys with the fancy axe heads, but these guys without do not have upgrades, I believe, unless it's just a mixed unit, or maybe they all have upgrades. Never mind. I spend way too much time looking at upgrades. So yeah, 3 units of heavily upgraded Norse axemen, a unit of dismounted chivalric knights, and 3 units of Norse swordsmen, again with heavy upgrades. See the nice fancy plate armour. So yeah, that's belg's army. We'll take a look at Alvaleon. He's got, looks like 3 units of Mongol foot archers. they're sort of the cheapest class of archers the Mongols can get, other than peasant archers, but they're still quite effective at skirmishing. He's got a unit of peasants backing them up, and then an infantry line of 4 units of dismounted heavy lancers with the cool fancy armour on. Then he's got a unit of dismounted light lancers on both flanks, I think, yeah, on both flanks. So for cavalry, he's got a Mongol light lancer, looks like maybe 3 units of Khan's Guard, yeah, 3 Khan's Guard, another unit of Mongol light lancers, and a general's bodyguard with another unit of dismounted light lancers mixed in. And then I believe he's got 2 units of Nafatoons, maybe 3. Yeah, I'm going to say 3. Excellent. Okay, so we shall go to Konie's army next. Konie with the Egyptians has brought 2 units of dismounted Arab cavalry, 4 units of Nafatoons, looks like 4 units of Tabardaria, who have significant upgrades on them, 4 units of Sugnanese tribesmen, and then looks like 4 units of the Royal Mamluks and a unit of upgraded Arab cavalry, and then his general's bodyguard. And as you can see, he's brought no archers whatsoever, so this is most definitely a rush army. Then for AggonyRipper, he has 2 units of peasants. He's got 4 units of dismounted chivalric knights, and 4 units, I believe, of swordsman militia with the full upgrades in their fancy plate armour. On this flank, he's got 2 units of mailed knights. Got, looks like 4 units of Knights of Santiago with some upgrades. I think they've only got the bronze upgrades. They've not gone full plate on those guys. And then he's got, I think, 4 units of peasant crossbowmen mixed in. So an interesting flanking force. I mean, it's a rush army with some elements of sort of missile flanking, which I love to see players that mix up some of their army, some of their unit choices, and really try out some new tactics. So we'll start this battle and we'll see what madness unfolds, because there already proves to be some madness in this this battle with the choice of Denmark and Egypt as well. Egypt's not a very popular faction. You can tell stuff is going to go down. So it looks like the Spanish player, AggonyRipper, has thrown out his cavalry, and he's going to push hard on De Belger's right flank. De Belger is going to respond with all his cavalry, these fancy Huskal cavalry with their fancy helmets. And already Agony is putting on the pressure with a nice cavalry charge into these crossbowmen, forcing De Belger to react with some of his own cavalry. And he's going to be able to push these male knights away. And then the main cavalry fight is going to ensue in earnest, with a nice cavalry charge from both players. This will probably go more Spain's way, simply because the chivalric knights have the lancers, whereas these Huskarls don't have lances, they have axes. So it looks like D-Belg has pulled up some infantry to support. These Norse axemen are perfect for this, simply because the two-handed axes have the armor-piercing trait and will be able to tear down these Spanish cavalry. But it already looks like he's got quite a nice solid victory against these Spanish cav, and he's even managed to spare some Huskarl cavalry to chase off these peasant crossbowmen. And oh god, I'm missing the infantry fight as well. So it looks like the Spanish player threw all his infantry into the mix, and these Norse swordsmen are getting surrounded by Spanish infantry, and the Spanish infantry is even spilling out towards these crossbowmen. A nice flank though by the Mongol player, Alvaleon, has managed to hit these swordsman militia in the flank, and these peasants are going to rout, and they're probably going to be followed by some of this Spanish infantry. But it looks like for the most part the cavalry fight has gone D-Belg's way. There's not a lot of Spanish cavalry left, and the cavalry that is just these mailed knights, which won't stand up to the brunt of the Danish cavalry. But the infantry fight is certainly not going D-Belg's way. The Spanish infantry is just far superior than those Norse swordsmen.
Our men have slain the Saracen general. Now we must send his men running back to the desert.
But it looks like Alvaleon has got his fight squarely in his control. The Nafatoons are bombarding this Egyptian infantry and causing it to rout, and some well-timed cavalry strikes are going to break these Sudanese tribesmen. So the Egyptian forces are probably going to break here. There's only a few scatterings of troops left, but as I say, the Mongol cavalry's got all that covered, so Alvaleon's doing a good job on his side.
And perhaps our chances of victory with it.
But it looks like the Spanish cav, as well as it was doing, has been the Danish cav has been thoroughly weakened. Although there's not a lot of Spanish cav either. I think they've managed to thoroughly annihilate each other, and they're just left with a handful of cavalry troops. The Spanish are still mopping up these Danish infantry forces and breaking through to these crossbowmen. But it looks like we've got some Danish reinforcements, and they're going to charge into these Chevrite Knights and break them. I think Alvaleon's doing a good job with his cavalry to support D-Belg's infantry line. Without this cavalry, I think D-Belg would have been in quite a lot of trouble, considering his own cavalry was defeated. But it looks like for the most part there's still quite a lot of the Danish infantry left that may have been involved in the cavalry fight. So now that it's being brought to bear against the Spanish, the Spanish infantry is in a lot of trouble, especially considering these swordsman militia are not the best infantry to pit up against these dismounted Chevrite Knights.
The enemy general flees like the coward he is. Strike hard and break the spirit of his army.
So it looks like the majority of the forces have been defeated, and there's just a few scatterings of cavalry and crossbowmen on this flank. Looks like the mailed knights are going in for a glory charge, but are probably going to be intercepted by some Mongolian cavalry. Not before they deal some damage to these crossbowmen. And then the mighty Khan's Guard is going to go on a rampage after these Spanish crossbows, who actually put down quite a lot of fire against them. A well-timed volley does weaken these Khan's Guard, but it's not going to stop them.
Look how our cowardly foe runs.
It looks like that the combined Mongolian forces and the Danish forces have seized the day. The Mongolian cavalry definitely were the MVPs of this battle. The Danish infantry broke early, but it looks like he had enough reserves to really fight back the Spanish forces. So here are the battle results. D.Belg was the subscriber that sent in this replay, so thank you very much, D.Belg. It was a very interesting battle. That cavalry flank, I simply couldn't take my eyes off it. It was a very interesting and a very nice move from AggonyRipper. Unfortunately, it wasn't supported very well, and it ended up going more D.Belg's way. So D.Belg, he got 639 kills and 87 captures, so quite a respectable score there. Alvaleon definitely getting the most kills with 898 kills and 275 captures. AggonyRipper getting 634 kills and 37 captures, so sort of the same as D.Belg. I think they both sort of killed each other, and it would have probably gone more Agony's way if Alvaleon hadn't swept in. But as I say, they were looking to destroy each other anyway, so Alvaleon winning his fight was just the added bonus that the team needed. And Konie, or TWR Konie, getting 588 kills and 35 captures. Still quite a respectable score, but as I say, the Mongolian cavalry was just ripping into his forces, and it's never a good thing to leave cavalry unchecked. So in leaving the Mongolian cavalry to run around, his infantry was unfortunately routed fairly quickly due to being outflanked, and the Nafatoons as well. They were quite deadly to the Egyptian morale. So a very nice battle. I'm glad I had a chance to commentate on it. As I say, I've got another one from D.Belg, which I will probably do later down the line. I want to get some of my own games in, and I also have some hot seat campaigns to upload as well, and as well as some other stuff. I'm sure I'll be able to fit the other replay in somewhere, as I say, in the mix. I want to mix up my record uploadings because I've currently only done hot seats recently, and I need to start getting into doing my own games as well. So but yeah, it was a really nice game. Thank you very much for sending it in, D.Belg, and I shall see you all guys on the next battlefield.